This weekend, Bungie tossed the new Tex Mechanica scout rifle called the Prophet into the adept rotation for Trials of Osiris. Now, I grinded a bunch of rolls out on this thing. I've got everything people tell you to get, and in this video, I'm going to tell you what I think about this weapon. Does it deserve a spot in your arsenal, in your vault, in your trash can? We'll break it all down. And the gameplay in this video is a pretty even mix between controller on PS5 and mouse and keyboard gameplay on PC, because this weapon really does feel dramatically different between the two inputs, and I'll talk about that in a minute. But first things first, let's get the basics out of the way, and then I'll talk about role recommendations, and then finally I'll wrap it up with my overall assessment of the weapon. And for those of you who just sort of want the TLDR, I'll make sure to timestamp the final assessment in the pinned comment for you, so you can just skip right to that if that's all you're interested in. Okay, the Prophet is a stasis, aggressive frame Tex Mechanica scout rifle, which means it does come with the Tex balanced stock origin trait. Damaging a target while firing from the hip increases handling, reload speed, and movement speed while aiming down the sights. As an aggressive frame, it does 54 damage to the body and 91 to the head, which makes it a 2 to the head, 1 to the body, 3-hit kill. And you're looking at a flat 1 second time to kill here. Now, there are a couple of different directions that you can go with the Prophet, or you can go for like a hybrid between the two. So you've got the direction where you full send on the hipfire gunslinger fantasy with the thing, right? Lean into the origin trait, go for hipfire grip in the first column for more accuracy from the hip, go with offhand strike for more range, stability, and accuracy from the hip after a kill. I really like the fantasy here, I'm not gonna lie, honestly. I think there is some fun to be had with that combo, and there's a little bit of that combo in the background gameplay as well. The other direction that you can go with it is actually to take it to its limit as a traditional scout rifle, right? Relying on aiming down the sights with the iron sights to land a big precision damage from really far away. If you're gonna go that route, you could go with enlightened action, keep away, or rapid hit in the first column, and then go with the best damage perk in the second column, kill clip. So when you reload the weapon after a kill, now you'll do 114 damage to the head. Now, that number is very important, and I think it's also very intentional, because that means in 2 bullets, you'll be able to 2-tap almost any Guardian in PvP, except the ones running max resilience. That's right, a 2-tap will yield you 228 damage total, while max resilience enemies will have 230 health, right? So in fact, you'll see some 2-taps that fail to drop a Guardian a couple of times in the background gameplay of this video. And with resilience being a very popular stat to max out these days, you are bound to run into people who are intentionally, by design, blocking you from getting a faster TTK on them by running max resilience. When I talked about that issue on Twitter, I had some people who were like, well, that's why you run a surge mod with. And it's like, listen, now you're just upping the cost to get that 2-tap. Now I need to get 2 kills first to create an orb, go retrieve the orb, get another kill, activate kill clip, and still have a stack of my surge mod active. Now I can 2-tap. So that's like 3 kills to 4 kills later. So I think that's a little unrealistic to say, oh, just stack it with surge mods. But anyway, I've mentioned some of the perks already, but let me give you the full list here. In the first column, you've got Discord. Final blows with another weapon grant this weapon faster ADS speed, accuracy, and airborne effectiveness. Then there's Enlightened Action. Doing damage increases handling and reload speed. It's a great perk. Demolitionist, Keep Away, Hipfire Grip, Outlaw, and Rapid Hit. Some really juiced perks in here. Then in the second column, there's Cascade Point, which I did try, and I was not impressed with it. Explosive Payload, Golden Tricorn, Headstone, Offhand Strike, Kill Clip, and Precision Instrument. Again, juiced perks overall, but let's talk about the pairings. In the first column, I think your best bets for PvP would be Enlightened Action, Keep Away, or Rapid Hit, if you're just going for that traditional scout rifle feel. Otherwise, Hipfire Grip obviously is the choice if you're going to full send on the Hipfire Fantasy. In the second column, for the traditional scout role, I really can't recommend anything other than Kill Clip, right? I tried all the other damage perks. I tried Golden Tricorn, tried Precision Instrument, and obviously Kill Clip. And it became apparent very quickly that there's no real utility in using the other two, because they won't alter your TTK like Kill Clip can. And even Kill Clip can be thwarted by max resilience. So you may as well go with the one that's going to give you the best bang for your buck. Go with the best damage perk available in the form of Kill Clip. I also tried doing some playing around with Headstone, You know, the headstone can synergize with some of the mods in the seasonal artifact right now, and for some bigger shatters and wider AoE and bigger damage, and that's kind of neat when it works. But realistically speaking, it's just not that great when you compare it to get a kill, reload, and then do 25% more damage. It really can't hold a candle to that. And then obviously, if you want a full send on the hipfire thing, you may as well go with offhand strike for a big buff to your range and accuracy from the hip. Now, I did mention you could go with a hybrid roll, and if you want to mix the two playstyles together, then I'd go with hipfire grip and kill clip, and then put a freehand grip mod on the weapon and forego an adept mod. But here's where I insert my own personal opinion on this weapon and give you my assessment, okay? So we're breaking away from empirical data and objective stuff and going into opinion here. But overall, I didn't feel like there was much this scout rifle can do that would make me feel compelled to use it much, if at all. Let's talk about those two ways that you can take it. If you're going with a traditional scout rifle with 2-tap potential, I still think this weapon is pretty boring. To get the best mileage out of that roll, you kind of have to be a bit of a laning Larry. You know, play the edges of the map, run when more than one person starts to push your location, and just keep the lanes locked down. And even then, there are other laning weapons that do it just as well, if not better. You can't get kill clip active if you're dueling a good, like Jade Rabbit for example, that has a faster initial TTK. The Jade Rabbit, also a 3-tap, but it can do it in a 1/5 of a second faster than the Prophet. Yeah, the Prophet does have the 2-tap potential, maybe with an asterisk, and there's some fun to be had there. But to be completely honest, I've been kill chaining from downtown with better consistency with a Rampage Precision Scout Rifle lately, and a box-breathing Hung Jury is going to get you more consistency as well. And the 2-tap not being guaranteed is sometimes a bit of a buzzkill too. But what about that hipfire fantasy, right? I like this whole vibe, honestly, but again, I just don't think it's good enough or consistent enough to warrant using it in a serious environment. I just use this setup for fun alone, and it is kind of fun, don't get me wrong, but even stacking the origin trait with hipfire grip with freehand mod, it doesn't feel consistent. I still put the reticle right on the guy and whiff half the shots. And I'll go back and sort of slow it down in like my editing, and I'll just check. Yeah, reticle's like right on the dude. It's just a gamble gun. Every time you pull the trigger, you're rolling the dice. And when you stack hipfire perks, you may be rolling with an advantage, but you still have to beat a high number on the dice roll, and sometimes you get a bad roll. And in Destiny right now, a missed shot is often very costly in an engagement. The only thing I'll say is that this weapon felt much better on mouse and keyboard than it did on console. I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that the sights are iron sights. Being able to rapidly adjust with a mouse felt incredible, while tracking targets on the sticks with, you know, a fixed tracking speed on thumbsticks, it felt like dookie. You have so much more freedom and precision when tracking targets with a mouse and a keyboard than you do on a short rubber thumbstick, and I think PC players might be able to get better performance out of this weapon in the long haul than console players can. It still performed okay on console, don't get me wrong, and some console players will really like this weapon for sure, I think, but for me and my money, I would say that the Prophet is comfortably mid, with some fun rolls, but ultimately it will get outclassed by other options both in deep range duels and in mid-range hipfire duels. If S tier is the pinnacle, I think I would put the Prophet at a B- or a C+. And that's the review. Hey, let me know in the comment section below what you think about the Prophet. Is this a weapon that you really vibe with? What rolls are you liking? Do you more or less agree with my final assessment, or do you have other thoughts? Feel free to let me know, and thanks as always for tuning into the video today. I genuinely appreciate each and every one of you. If you enjoyed the video, please feel free to leave a like on it, as that's the best free way to support my content here on YouTube. And if you haven't already subscribed to the channel, then consider doing so for additional Destiny 2 content, including weapon reviews, build suggestions, and general PvP commentary. Alright, be warm and well fed, my friends, and I do hope to catch you in the Crucible.